So this is the Volkswagen Tiguan AllSpace, as you can see, and now it's all about space. It gets 2 new seats, a new petrol engine, but does it lose out on the essence that the Volkswagen Tiguan has been known for all this while? Let's find that out. Let's first talk about the design of the car. It is basically identical to the older Tiguan, with the only difference being the lack of body cladding all around the car. And honestly, I like it this way more, because the Tiguan now looks more premium and does not feel like it is trying hard to be a bulky SUV. The smart use of chrome, and since the wheelbase and the overall length of the car is longer than before, the AllSpace has a more commanding road presence. So by now you get the idea, the changes are subtle and that continues on to the inside as well. Once you're here at the driver's seat, you're greeted with a familiar cabin. Straight cut lines, dark theme, very businessy. That's how the Tiguan has always been, and the build quality is absolutely fantastic. You have an 8-inch touchscreen infotainment system, which is fantastic to use, but you also get an all-new, all-digital instrument cluster. This is a fantastic unit, great colors, great graphics. It makes you feel like you're in a more expensive car. Overall, the Tiguan AllSpace feels really nice once you're seated here. The Tiguan AllSpace is loaded to the brim with features too. It gets things like cruise control, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto support, auto headlamps and wipers, 2-way adjustable headrests, hill descent control and hill start assist, an 8-speaker music system, and loads of compartment spaces all around the cabin. Now coming to the second row of the Tiguan AllSpace, first thing first, the visibility is fantastic. You have these large glass panels, this humongous panoramic sunroof. This lets a lot of light come inside the cabin and it feels airy and spacious. Speaking of spacious, the driver's seat has been set as per my height. For reference, I'm 5'10", and you can see I have a lot of leg room at my disposal, enough headroom as well. The seating position is comfortable. You get a USB charging socket down here, you get your own rear AC vents, and of course you get these adjustable trays as well to get work done. Coming to the boot space, with all the seats up, you get a modest 230 liters of boot space. But if you fold down the seats, all of them, it can go all the way to over a massive 1200 liters. But we'll leave the last row up for now and give it a closer check. Well, now that we've popped open the last row of seats, the way to get there is through this row. But before we do that, I want you to remember something. There is a lever here that lets you slide the seat front and forward, but we'll get back to that. Now to get it to that last row of seat, what I have to do is fold this, pull this forward, and then make my way through. Now once I'm here, well, then I can pull this seat back, but then I cannot bring it all the way back to adjust it according to my size. And in order to do that, I'll need one more passenger to sit there and help me out with it. But even then, I simply do not have enough space to sit here even for 5 minutes. This is really cramped. So this is best for kids, small kids, but nothing more than that. All in all, the Tiguan AllSpace is arguably one of the most versatile and practical SUVs that you can have in this segment. Now that we've talked about the exteriors, the interiors, the cabin space and some of the features that the car gets, it's time to talk about the big question, which is, how is the Tiguan to drive? Because its driving capabilities were the differentiating factor for the Tiguan among the other SUVs in this price bracket. For the Tiguan AllSpace, well, the diesel engine, it's gone. What you get instead is a brand new 2-liter TSI 4-cylinder petrol engine that makes 190 PS of power and 320 Newton meters of torque. And since there is only one variant of the AllSpace on offer, you only get the choice of one gearbox along with it, which is the 7-speed TSG gearbox. And boy, is this a good gearbox. Volkswagen usually knocks it out of the park with their drivetrains, and it is no different with the AllSpace either. The refinement levels is unmatched, and there is a linear performance delivery whenever you ask for it. The engine is happy to rev all the way to 6,500 RPM and sounds rather sporty when you go for it. The gearbox is quick and gets the gears right in almost all circumstances. The addition of paddle shifters only makes the experience that much better. You also have several drive modes to choose from, which in theory allow you to go off-road, but the suspension setup is a bit on the stiffer side even in the most off-road focused setting. Hence, we would recommend not doing anything extreme with the AllSpace. Other than that, there's hardly any time you would be wanting more from the car. So now we know everything that we need to know about the Tiguan AllSpace, barring one thing, the price, because that will determine the value for money that the car brings to the table. And at 33.5 lakh rupees, well, the Tiguan AllSpace is on the expensive side. There's no covering that up. And now the Tiguan actually competes with a lot more SUVs than the original Tiguan did. You've got the Mahindra Alturas G4, you've got the Ford Endeavour, the Toyota Fortuner, and the newly introduced MG Gloster SUV as well. But in these many SUVs, the reason for buying the Tiguan actually remains the same. If you want a car that you love to drive and you want a good driving experience, the Tiguan AllSpace delivers on that, and the fact that it now comes with 2 more seats is only icing on the cake.